remade theme song sucks compared to the original.
Hello my very wonderful viewers, and welcome to my review of 2016 Ghostbusters, aka home to the most disliked trailer on YouTube. Does it actually deserve that much hate? Well, I'll go into that, as well as talking about what I liked and did not like about this movie. First things first, I'm not a sexist. I actually like the idea of having an all-female cast for the new Ghostbusters. It's just that they're not very good. One of the reasons is that it's just poor writing. As someone who loves the original Ghostbusters, and how I even love the second one, I don't get the amount of hate that one gets, but like the writing for this one is just so off, and it's the lowest tier jokes. Like literally the first main joke they make in this movie is a queef joke, and it's everyone in my theater was laughing, but I literally just face palmed and just kind of thought about life, and that's in the first 10 minutes, for God's sake. Like, I thought if the rest of the movie is going to be like that, this is going to be very painful. And in some ways, the rest of the movie is like that, but in some other ways, it's not. This movie is a very strong okay. It's not god awful. It's not M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong Last Airbender level. It's not that. And it's not good. It's not good by any means. It's not the next Citizen Kane, or it's not going to live up to the original, because you know you just can't live up to the original. I actually had to rewatch the original because after watching this movie, because I just needed to be reminded of how a Ghostbusters movie is done right. But okay, let's talk about the plot, I guess. So Erin Gilbert is like at this new university. She's like trying to get a job, and then someone comes to her in the big hall, and she's like, and he's like, I read your book on paranormal activity. And then she was like, oh no, I don't believe in that anymore. And then she finds out her friend has put her book on eBay or something, on Amazon. And then she's like, yo, you didn't ask for my permission. And she's like, I didn't need to. My name's on the book or whatever. I don't know. You walked out on me, so I found this new chick called Kate McKinnon. Oh, that's just what I'm gonna call her. I can't remember. Oh, Holtzman, right? And she can make real good tech. So they're still running this business of paranormal investigations while you were going to do some particle physics or whatever. And then they get a call about this paranormal occurrence at this museum, which I have to admit, the first 5 minutes when the random paranormal thing happened and it zoomed in on the guy's face when the Ghostbusters theme was like creeping up, I got really nostalgic. I thought that was really cool. It just kind of brought me back to the original, but you know, that has nothing to do with this movie. It's just calling back to the original, and this movie does that a lot, and it expects to be a better movie because of what they do, poking fun at the original, but it's not. Anyway, they go to this museum and they find a ghost, and then Erin is like, "Oh, ghosts are real! Oh my god!" And then she gets vomited on, and then Melissa McCarthy's like, "That's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Jeez, wow, that's just whoa, that is so cool. It's so beautiful because she got vomited on." And then like the other chick's like eating like Pringles in the background, and she's like crunching, and it's really annoying. The humor in this movie is literally like fart jokes. Like that's usually like the extent of this movie. It's just fart jokes and falling over and slapstick. The lowest tier amount of slapstick jokes. But anyway, they get a call about this other ghost that Leslie Jones, who plays Patty, saw in like the train tracks, and then Chris Hemsworth, who plays Kevin, and I have to say he was hilarious in this movie. He's probably the funniest character, but even he got really annoying towards the end. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're stupid, we get it. He hits a gong in this movie, like one of those Japanese or Chinese things where like for battles or whatever, and then he hits it, and then he puts his fingers over his eyes and said, "Oh, that's really loud," instead of putting his fingers over his ears, because he's stupid. It's just not funny. It was, well, it was funny, but like not. It's not my type of comedy. It's not the type of comedy that came from the original. It's 2016 comedy where we're used to like John Cena compilations and just, I don't know, Allah Akbar and a bunch of other memes that I guess are up on the rise now, but this movie was very disappointing. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, Leslie Jones says that she found a ghost, and we need to bust this ghost, and then they go to the train tracks, and guess like Kate McKinnon has this like push cart with like the proton pack on top of it, and they try to capture it, but it just kind of doesn't work. And then she creates these more mobile proton packs that they can like carry on their back, like the original Ghostbusters. And like the problem with this movie is it's edited in such a weird way. You don't get the passage of time. Like you never get the feeling that Kate McKinnon is really that smart. Like it feels like it's not real intelligence. It's movie intelligence where she just creates new equipment for the sake of moving the plot forward. Like you never get the feeling that she's actually smart, like Egon was. You got the feeling that Egon in the original movie was very intelligent, and he created the tech because he was actually an interesting character. Oh god, I swear I'm not a sexist, people. I swear, it's just movie, it's not that good. But yeah, she creates these new proton packs, and then oh god, I saw this movie yesterday, I could not remember anything. They all go to this concert, right, where the bad guy in this movie, he shows up there, and he's literally the lamest bad guy. He's supposed to be like the Gozer in this movie, and he's so lame. Like, he's just a guy who got bullied, and he's like, oh, show them, I'll bring the fourth apocalypse or whatever it's called. And then he's literally just a guy who got bullied a little bit, and now he thinks ghosts will rule the world, and he's a horrible villain. Like, literally, he's worse than Jesse Eisenberg, and I think that is a really sad accomplishment when you can be worse than Jesse Eisenberg from Batman v Superman. Good job, Ghostbusters. You done yourself bad. So he goes to like this Ozzy Osbourne concert, which doesn't make any sense. He unleashes this like dragon kind of ghost, I guess, and then they have to stop it. And this is a really funny part in the movie, actually, when they have to like split up and look for this demon ghost, and then like the ghost possesses the mannequin, and the black Ghostbuster Patty is like looking around, and then she walks into this room full of mannequins, and she's like, oh, room of nightmares, cool, I'm not going in there, and then she walks away. That was pretty funny. And then the mannequin like starts following her, and then she's like, she turns around and he says, was that there before? And then she says, please don't answer. And then like the mannequin starts running towards her, and then she starts screaming, run away. That was pretty funny, I have to say. This movie did get a few good chuckles out of me. Like, I would say it's a good 55 to 45. 55% of the jokes actually made me chuckle. The other 45 just kind of fell flat, mainly because of the stereotypes and just everything else in this movie. That just wasn't funny. But yeah, they capture this dragon ghost, I guess, and then the bad guy is like, oh, nuts, I guess I have to unleash this giant... He kills himself with like electricity things, and then he makes himself a ghost, and then he possesses the receptionist Kevin, who's Chris Hemsworth, and then he does a bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense, and then he unleashes all these ghosts into New York, and then, like, for some reason, these people, all the Ghostbusters, just become these gigantic, perfect shots, like James Bond, Jason Bourne, freaking perfect shots with their proton packs, with having no evidence as to them being actually good in the, like, ever in the movie. Like, they just pick up these perfect shots, and they're like, I guess they're so super badass or something. And hang on, before I move any further into the plot, I need to talk about the cameos in this movie. They're all terrible. Like in the original cast, I don't know why. Bill Murray especially, I find it just insulting. Bill Murray's cameo in this movie, he plays like a skeptic who doesn't believe in ghosts, and he tries to like say like, you Ghostbusters are frauds, like you don't, there was no ghosts, I don't believe you. And then like they actually show like the ghost to Bill Murray, and then the ghost kills him. They kill Bill Murray. And this isn't funny. It's not Zombieland where they actually kill Bill Murray. That was hilarious in Zombieland when Bill Murray was killed, but in this movie, it's not. It's not funny. They kill Bill Murray in the most insulting way possible, and it's not funny. And then Dan Aykroyd makes a cameo as like a taxi driver, and then he comes up. This is actually my favorite cameo, actually. And then he comes up, and then Erin Gilbert is like one of the Ghostbusters. She says, I need to be taken to New York to help fight these ghosts. And then he's like, oh, that's like a 1 or 2 miles further than I want to go. And then she was like, please, there's ghosts roaming around New York. And then he's like, okay, well, I don't drive wackos, and I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And then he drives off. Like, just the way he says, I'm not afraid of no ghosts. That was pretty awesome. It just reminded me how much I need to watch the original again. That's like the only good thing about this movie, is that it opens up Ghostbusters to a new generation. Like, I heard this girl next to me saying, if this movie's good, I'll go watch the original. I'm just like, what the hell are you doing with your life? If you haven't seen the original, then why are you here? And it angers me, because some people may think that like this Ghostbusters movie was bad, and they think the original was bad, and oh god, the original is a much better movie than this. But anyway, where was I? Dan Aykroyd's cameo, yeah, he drives off, and then all the Ghostbusters, they get into a fight with all the ghosts, and there's this one 30-second scene where Kate McKinnon just goes on like a shooting spree, and like, she's probably the best Ghostbuster out of all of them, to be honest, but like, she like starts killing ghosts like left, right, up and down, and that was pretty cool. But sorry, just got something in my throat. Right, and then they find where the center of this portal is, I guess. Oh wait, no, hang on, no, they go to this hot dog stand, right, and they find Slimer stuffing his face with like food and stuff. Another pointless cameo. Like, Slimer had no purpose in this movie whatsoever. He was literally just in the movie because he was in the old one. And he was literally in the movie so that he could take the Ecto-1 to be a way to stop the ghost portal in the end. And now apparently there's like a female Slimer as well. And I just found that incredibly disgusting and stupid. But Slimer's in this movie and he's completely pointless. But anyway, they find the center of this ghost. Oh, I keep saying alien. Ghost portal, and like they have to close it, and then they figure out, hey, the Ecto-1 has a nuke on it, and then they wait for Slimer. For some reason, Slimer just drives right into the portal, and they shoot the nuke on top of the Ecto-1, and then like they close the ghost portal, and then Melissa McCarthy. I've completely missed. Since the villain is so boring in this movie, I forgot he existed. He's like, choose the form of your destructor, like in the original movie, when they had to choose like whether the destructor was going to be cute, because that's why they chose Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And then he was like, choose your form of the destructor, and then the black woman's like, hang on. Okay. And then she's like, something cute and cuddly, please. And then he turns into the Ghostbusters logo, and he's like, oh, something a little bit more familiar. And then she's like, yeah, that's good. And then he turns into this giant, like, monster version of the Ghostbusters logo. And I swear to God, this movie is the most sexist and disgusting portrayal of men I've ever seen in a movie. All the men in this movie are either stupid, like Chris Hemsworth, a creep, like, you know, like all of the people in this movie, all the men, they are the creeps, or they're just playing dicks. And like there's not a male character in this movie that isn't stupid, a creep, or an asshole. That's literally like the 3 versions of males in this movie. And literally, you know what they do to stop the giant Ghostbusters logo? You know what they do? they shoot the Ghostbusters logo in the they shoot the Ghostbusters logo in the balls, in his non-existent white flat balls, and then he loosens his grip on the buildings, and then gets sucked into the portal, and then so all the females, they shoot the giant Ghostbusters logo in the balls, and then it's funny, haha, because comedy. And then he gets sucked into the portal, but not before grabbing Melissa McCarthy and grabbing her into the portal with him. And then this really stupid scene. Aaron Gilbert has to I'll just call it Kristen Wiig. Kristen Wiig has to go into the portal to save Melissa McCarthy, and it's the worst green screen ever. She literally goes into the portal, and it looks like the 70s Superman. I'm not even joking. Like, she clips like this line onto her belt and has to go save Melissa McCarthy, and then shoots the giant Ghostbusters logo into the portal further, and then he lets go of Melissa McCarthy, and then for some goddamn reason, I don't know why, their hair turns white. Like, their hair just turns white for no reason as they're going back through the portal, and there's no payoff for that joke. Is that supposed to be funny? Like, their hair turned white, but there's no payoff for the joke at all. I don't get it. And then they have to dye their hair afterwards. So what is the point? I don't get the point. This whole movie is pointless. I'm sorry, I just had a little spaz attack there, but this whole movie's just pointless. Anyway, I guess they're done, and Kevin is back to being retarded, I guess, and then they all live happily ever after. But then the credits roll, and they show this these montages of elongated scenes, and before the movie ends, there's this there's a cameo by Ernie Hudson, which is another terrible cameo. She turns out to be the uncle of Patty, who is the black Ghostbuster who owned the hearse that they used to drive around in, which was the Ecto-1. And since that Ecto-1 was destroyed, he was like, oh my god, you know how many corpses I have to pick up? And he's like, can't you just all do it in one? And then, there's no payoff for that joke either, I guess. And then, during the credits, there's this really garbage Sigourney Weaver cameo. My voice is so tired after talking about this movie. There's a Sigourney Weaver cameo, and she's like the mentor of Kate McKinnon's character, I guess. And, she has to high-five Kate McKinnon, and she's like, I hate doing that. Just like she hated doing this movie. I bet every Ghostbusters actor was either bullied into doing it, or they were gonna get sued by a lawsuit. I think that's why they were in this movie, because no one in their right mind would join this movie. I'm sorry, but Paul Feig, I actually like his movies. The guy who directed Bridesmaids, which is a movie I like, but I don't get why they chose him to direct this movie. His directing style is completely non-Ghostbusters. It's crazy. And where was I? Oh yeah, and there's an end credit scene. It was really painful. I had to wait for this end credit scene, and there was actually for some reason Patty is listening over the ghost tapes, I guess, or the audio tapes, and then she's like, whoa guys, this is crazy, and then what? And then she's like, who's Zool? And if you guys don't know, Zool was a worshipper of Gozer back in the original movie, and he was one of the main villains, who was this giant dog that was living in Sigourney Weaver's fridge. And I guess that's the setup for a sequel, but a sequel nobody wants. But whatever. Anyway, that's the story of Ghostbusters, I guess. A completely 55-45 landing of jokes ratio. I'm done with the story now. I can actually talk what I liked and didn't like about this movie. Again, apologies for my very tired sounding voice. I'm not feeling too well at the moment, so if I explain some of the things I like about this movie in a very just bored voice, that's because these Ghostbusters sucked all the fun out of the original. I'm kidding, it didn't. But anyway, let's get into what I liked. The comedy, it has hit and misses, I guess. Yeah, the pros are it hits sometimes, other times it doesn't. Kate McKinnon, she's probably the best Ghostbuster. Chris Hemsworth, he was funny for like the first 500 times. Actually, no, he was first for like the first 20, and then the other 480 times they hammer in the fact that he's dumb. It got quite tiresome. But, hang on, let me think. Of the other pros and cons, hang on. There really, there really are none apart from that. That one Dan Aykroyd cameo, I guess. And then, okay, let me think of the cons. Sloppy writing. I'd say half of the jokes don't really hit. The villain is just the most, yeah. And like the fact that this movie is completely sexist to men, like I feel like that was a big thing. It's much easier than listing the pros. That new Ghostbusters theme song, god awful. Let me think. Cons. The fact that this movie was even made, you know, the fact that this wasn't a continuation of the original Ghostbusters, but this was like a complete reboot. That's another con. You know what? I'm going to explain my version of the movie and how this movie should have been. Okay, listen to my version of the movie, right? Imagine this. The old Ghostbusters have retired, and there's this new ghost outbreak, right? And Kate McKinnon's character is actually the daughter of Egon Spengler and Janine, and that's why she's so goddamn smart. That would have been awesome. Like, it's all the Ghostbusters like passing down the torch to this new generation of Ghostbusters, and Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver could have had a child. That could have been Melissa McCarthy's character, and Patty, it could have been the same. Like, Ernie Hudson could have been her uncle or something. Not everyone needs to be connected by family, but like they could have just like passed down their equipment to this new like generation of Ghostbusters, and then everyone, there's this new ghost outbreak, and they're like, we need to do this for our fathers and our family. Like, we need to save New York like our family did before us. And sorry, that would have been a much better idea than just wiping the whole slate clean and just saying, you know, you love the original Ghostbusters, well, screw you. You know, if you don't like this movie, then you're sexist. If you don't like this movie, then you're a piece of crap. You know, if you don't like this movie, you just hate women. No! It's not because of that. It's because it's not funny. Because it's a complete disgrace to the original Ghostbusters. And I wouldn't be making this video if I actually friggin' love this movie. I probably just wouldn't make this video if I loved it. The reason this movie is really, it's not, God, I'm going into a rant. Hang on, I just need to contain myself. It's not terrible, okay? The women are kind of funny at times, but it's not good. This movie is not good, and it's not terrible. It's just, it's blah. It's blah. It's just blah. This movie is also an insult to like the original Ghostbusters. Like, literally every cameo they make is in some way like either poking fun at the original or just saying like Bill Murray's character is a complete like, it's almost like they don't respect the original in a way. It's kind of insulting, really. And Stay Puft Marshmallow Man also makes a cameo as like a giant balloon. Like when the balloon like lands on like two of the Ghostbusters, and they're, oh god, they make so many like cameos and stuff, but like it doesn't feel genuine. It's like they didn't really care. My main problem, oh god, my voice. My main problem with this movie is that it doesn't feel like a movie that needed to be made. It feels like a machine. It feels like something a company needed to make money. Because money. That's why this movie was made. Not because the the director loved the original and wanted to make like a love letter to the original. No, that's not why. It's because of money. For Sony. Sony wanted money. That's all this movie was made for. All this movie was made for was just for money. And I guess I can't say much more than that. I mean, Ghostbusters 2016 is just, if you like that kind of humor that I've kind of named in this video, go watch it, because it's full of that stuff. But I don't recommend seeing this movie. And my brother actually didn't end up seeing it because he heard it was bad. It's kind of sad, really, that I loved the original Ghostbusters, and like I was just kind of bored like the whole time. Like, I just feel like I could be watching the original Ghostbusters right now. It's probably my least favorite movie that I've seen this year, to be honest. All the actresses like play stereotypes, and like it never feels like a genuine movie that needed to be made. All in all, Ghostbusters, it's a good time if you like the type of humor that appeals to like 10-year-olds, I guess. But all in all, my rating for Ghostbusters 2016 is a 5 out of 10. Okay, it's not good, but it's not Lost Airbender level. It's not terrible, but it feels like an insult to like not only the fans but to the original movie itself. And it never feels like a movie that needed to be made. It feels like a machine. It feels like something that someone needed to make because they wanted to make money. And it pains me to say that because I love the original Ghostbusters, and I'm not saying it's a masterpiece or anything. It's a good 80s comedy, but you know, I love the original Ghostbusters, and to like see this movie and see how like remakes are going, like to appeal to the new generation of people, like it's just kind of sad, really. But yeah, I guess that's my review of Ghostbusters 2016. If you've seen the movie, which I bet you haven't, I mean, I just listed all the spoilers in this movie, so you probably haven't seen it, or you don't want to watch this video. But if you want to see it, go see it, but I don't recommend it. Okay, well, I guess I'll see you guys in the next one, and stay beautiful, and you just got caged.
To the room of people who have rooms of